Yeah, everybody's all right. I think obviously there was a number of cases which made it impossible for us in the end. But everybody's okay. I think it's been a tough year for everybody, and obviously hugely disappointing that we haven't been able to achieve what we wanted to achieve through the season. So obviously we all know the sort of standard things that happen with the disease. So there are some things like loss of taste and smell that quite a few of the guys have got. There's been a fair bit of fatigue and headaches, but then there's been some players who have had absolutely no symptoms at all. So it's been quite mixed. But everybody's okay, and that's, we're thankful for that. Obviously, that's the most important thing. I've been fine. So I've been holed up at home for the last 14 days, and I've been fine. I've been tested sometimes. I'll tell you, it's not the nicest thing either. So yeah, we've over the last 2 weeks I've been tested 4 or 5 times, I think now. So it's been regular. It's difficult because you're obviously in an enclosed environment quite a bit with the changing rooms where you are fairly spread out, and you wear masks whenever you're talking to somebody else. I mean, I think the difficult one for us was and I know LKR have had a few cases as well. We went over to Lancashire to play LKR, and we were on the bus for over 3 hours. And that's, obviously you can't get any more enclosed than that. And then obviously we go into changing rooms. So look, we don't know. It's very hard to tell, and we've been been really diligent with it, consistently across the season. But that'd be the time where I think you can see it was soon after that, and OKR got a fair bit of COVID cases as well. So whether it was that, we don't know, but that has the highest potential, I would say. There's a lot made of myself. This guy gave me a lot of time on the screen at one point. Now I was clearly getting frustrated with some of the things that were going on, whether it be referees or injuries. The whole thing was pretty frustrating, and I've just been sat home for 14 days, and I know a fair few other people have had to do that. So it's been difficult. It's been really difficult to. I think we've kept a group of men heading in the right direction, but I think we've had so many things go against us that it's been so difficult for us all. Well, I think we've handled ourselves pretty well. We need to come out next year and just show that all this has been a fantastic learning experience for us, and we're tougher and more resilient as a result of that. And I obviously include myself in that as well. Take COVID aside, we went into lockdown and we were on fire. We'd beaten St Helens and played a really great brand of rugby where it's exactly the way we wanted to play the game. We beat St Helens in every department, and then we've come back and even taking aside COVID, I mean, I think we've been pretty unlucky in quite a few games. We've had a lot of injuries in specific positions. We haven't been able to get our halfbacks together, and it's just been so frustrating from that perspective. And I think we've battled pretty hard, for the right up to the point where we couldn't play anymore. And we're in games. We had a really tough effort against Leeds at our last game. having a man sent off, but I think there's a whole heap of courage and spirit around the club, and we've just got to come back and go again. And it's been positionally, it's been our worst position in the table for a while, and that's usually disappointing. But it's I think it's not through a lack of effort or preparation or determination. It's just been almost a perfect storm in lots of ways in terms of putting a group of men under pressure. And certainly I think we'll learn lessons from this season, and we'll carry them into hopefully doing something special next year, which I think this group of men is capable of doing. The difficult thing's been lockdown. That's been really hard to gauge. And we've come out of it and picked up some injuries really, to too many players, and some of them have been there've been nothing that we could do about them. There's been a lot of issues with contact injuries, which obviously the game dictates that. But we picked up a couple that we felt we could have done. We maybe would have done a couple of things a little bit differently in lockdown, but it's just been an unparalleled situation for everybody to deal with, and I think everybody will probably learn some lessons through this period. Jax O'Neill has stepped forward and adjusted a couple of bits to his game when he came back, and he's been fantastic. I think Tyler Eppey is another one who came in and did really well. Brad Martin, Lewis Peachy, a couple of other young players. Bailey Hodgson made his debut. So I think that's been a real positive, and I think the continuing form of people like Paul McShane and Adam Milner came back into form after the start of lockdown, and I just think it's been a really tough effort from everybody. Whilst we haven't got what we've wanted, I think the younger players coming through, even though the numbers in our squad will be a little bit less next year, I think the quality will actually be improved depth-wise because of what these young guys have done. No, I think we're pretty strong in most positions. I think that the big thing we need to do is keep players on the field. So that's been a massive part of what we've been discussing since as we got towards the back end of the season, and with what's happened to us coming out of lockdown. I think there's a huge push from us to help our players stay on the field. We need to be more durable. Players have got to be right at the top of the game for next year for us to be able to do what we need to do. So I think that's the biggest focus, rather than there's not going to be a massive amount of recruitment coming into Super League. I don't think. Never mind our club. So for us, the focus is on doing better with what we've got, and those guys being right at the top of the game. Well, I think it's a really tough one. So I don't have all the circumstances of the new owners and what they were saying. The one thing I would say is I think it's hard to give a club, whether it's an expansion club or not, no central funding and expect them to just run with it, because I don't think there's many of the clubs that are in Super League that do that. So I think it's a tough one. And I don't know all the details, so it'd be hard for me to make a very firm statement on it. But I think it's tough, and it doesn't look great, to be honest. And how are we gonna piece together this extra team, this 12th team? It has to be good for the game, and it has to be good for Super League. So I'll be interested to see what happens. The sport's just got to get its house in order in terms of who's running it, and what it looks like. So I'd just like to see a unified sport, really. And there's clearly some splits there, and you're never going to get everybody agreeing with everybody else. But I think we have to be seen to be a unified sport that's working together and in the right direction. I think it's absolutely key coming out of all the things that's happened to the sport. We need a really good year next year. It needs to be a really good year for the sport, and I think, like I say, being unified and working together, a club like Rugby League has to be outstanding in that regard. I think we have to work, and I've already made this point, and it's slightly different, but I think we have to work with referees more closely to help them to understand what the game needs, and that's both sides of it, from referees to us. What do they need from us? What do we need from them? And I've spoke to Dave Rotherham about this. I think it's absolutely crucial that we can work together to enhance the sport. And I think we've got a lot of young referees. There's been quite a few experienced referees drop out of the sport, and there's quite a lot of young referees in now. And I think the more we can help as coaches and as teams to help the standard be as good as it can be, then surely that's what we all want. We all want to be as good as we possibly can. players, coaches, referees are just the same, and I think we can work a little bit more closely to make sure that happens. Yeah, if we're not going to have scrums, you need to do something differently there. I think it looks terrible where there's a turnover of possession and the markers aren't going in and referees are telling them to go in, and I just don't see that. Just get on with the game. I don't think you should be able to do that to stop a game for 30 seconds without a scrum, because that actually benefits the defensive team that massively. And I don't, you kick the ball into touch and then you go, well, here we go. We've got a full line of defence, whereas you kick it in and you've got a scrum, there's a little bit more threat there. And we want to see the ball in play, don't we? We don't want to see it kicked over the sideline. Tactically, that will happen now and again, but every team was doing that, kicking it over the sideline, you can set up, and you've got a set line going and belting the opposition. And I don't think that looks great. I think it's a really poor look for the sport, and it just stops the game, slows it down too much.
Yeah, because I think one of your colleagues, I think it was Tony Smith, who alluded to the fact that at the very least the shot clock maybe should be shortened.
Yeah, I just think get it. Some referees have actually done it where they've sped it up. I just think you should get on with it. We want to keep the game going, don't we? I think there are some things that have been put in there to speed the game up and have worked pretty well. Although some of the injuries towards the back end sort of highlighted the point I was making earlier on in the year. But that just slows the game down. I don't see the benefit in that at all. I think it looks really ugly. To be honest, I think it's a big miss in the sport. People are saying that they don't like scrums, but I think we've seen that they're necessary. I think it's the shortening of numbers to create attacking opportunities is a big miss. I don't know. Maybe we should have social distance scrums. A couple of meters apart. It's got to be better than what we're seeing at the moment. I don't know what they're going to do, by the way. That was a question, wasn't it? I ain't got a clue. That'll depend on the virus, I think, and where we're at come March next year. I just can't wait to see them back. I'm hoping that next year we can see our fans back. I think it's been incredibly frustrating. I think going into lockdown, they would have been so excited with what they were going to see from the team in 2020, and it just hasn't materialised. And I can't say how frustrated I am for them as well as us, because we want to be winning games, and we've been consistently winning games and in the top four since 2014. So yeah, tough year, really tough year. But what I would say is, look, we will be looking to have an outstanding year next year, and the key thing is when things don't go your way is to stick together and continue to be positive, and that's what we're doing. We're being as positive as we can. We've got great plans looking forward to next year. Massively keen to keep our players on the field and give the fans exactly what they want, which is a successful season where we're playing in finals, and we want to be winning things. I've always said that, and we've been very close, but we haven't been able to quite do it. But I'm super positive for next year and looking forward to the challenge of it all.